Hi, everyone. I'm Anne Ray from JSTOR. I'm a senior licensing editor.
And I'm John Kiplinger. I'm the director of production for JSTOR.
And I'm going to talk to you today about an investigation, a multifaceted investigation that JSTOR is presently engaged in to bring Arabic scholarly content online within the large corpus of the JSTOR archive. And many of you are probably engaged in similar explorations from lots of different angles, and we're delighted to have an opportunity to share our own experience as part of this infrastructure part of the program. So first I'll just describe the context for our, yes, sorry.
I'm going to get rid of the thing that says my name.
Okay.
Because that's just not good.
Oh, this is the keyboard, cool.
Oh, yeah. Nope. Come back. Okay. There we go. Now you can more.
Okay, there we go. So this, again, is part of a larger effort to expand globally on JSTOR and focus on academic and cultural journals in the humanities and social sciences, which is where the JSTOR database has historically focused. And this is presently in an evaluative phase. And the effort stems from a desire to better represent global scholarship, as the archive has for most of its life focused on Western scholarship. And in addition, many journals in Arabic are in need of preservation and access, which is a part of JSTOR's mission. And we'd like to include journals that meet the same criteria that we have long applied to the rest of JSTOR, which are historical significance and a long history of high-quality published work. And many such journals exist in the Arab world, and yet they are not available alongside other journals. And we'd like to address these imbalances. And sort of as the dean pointed out, it's sort of trying to critically look at how our corpus has been formed over time. And lots of you are probably also doing work about the usability of scholarly content online, and we hope that our work will contribute to that in any way that it can. So just as a quick context for where the Arabic content would be added, the JSTOR corpus today is 2,500 academic journals, and that's about 10 million articles, 2 million primary source objects, and 60,000 scholarly monographs. And these cover about 60 disciplines. And so it's on top of this sort of interdisciplinary corpus that we hope to pursue adding Arabic. And so next, just to talk about some of the key challenges in this endeavor. One is prioritizing among the many Arabic scholarly journals out there. And for that, the types of questions that we need to ask are, where will we focus? Which disciplines? What time periods? And what types of publications? And for this, we also need to learn a little bit about the distinctions of periodicals published in the Arab world and how different constituencies and readers might conceptualize these distinctions against our own. And additionally, publishing structures, of course, vastly differ across the whole of the Arab world, and so we need to learn how to reach the rights holders and reach agreements with them across these many countries. We also need a process that scales so that we can create a corpus that has enough to offer, and it has to be affordable so that the costs to others are low, and the process can be sustainable. It also has to be accurate enough to be usable, as well as a faithful replication of the print original, and something that can be supported within our workflows and, again, scalable. And, of course, another key challenge is platform capabilities, and here user research is, of course, required to understand the features that might be needed to make the content readable and the costs to create those. So to start tackling some of these challenges, we began working with a scholar who of Middle Eastern studies, and this person conducted background research and created a preliminary list of possible publications that spanned the whole of the region. And then we augmented and validated this list with a survey that went out to JSTOR users with an interest in Middle East studies, as well as members of the Middle East Library Association. And from this, and this began in November 2016, and we got 148 responses, mostly from faculty, largely in Middle Eastern studies, naturally, but also lots of other disciplines, including political science, modern languages, and more. And the findings from this survey yielded more than 125 individual journals. And the start dates from these ranged from the very early 19th century, 1825, all the way up to 2012. And what was interesting about these results is that the majority are private, quote-unquote, publications, meaning that they are independently published, often by local intellectual and scholarly communities, or even by particular families, which is something of a distinction of publishing in many countries in the Arab world. And so the goal was to identify publications that represented, again, the whole of the region. And so far, most are, in fact, concentrated in Egypt and Lebanon. And so we're continuing to engage with expert scholars and librarians to keep building that sort of distribution of locality. And I'm going to turn it over to John.
Excuse me. So we are attempting I'm going to talk more about the content conversion process of this. We are attempting to determine the practicality of a large-scale, high-quality conversion process for Arabic scholarly journals. We've received an NEH grant last year to investigate this specific question, and we anticipate reporting results via a white paper during the second half of this year. So digitized print journals typically consist of page images captured from the print original, and then metadata and searchable full text. Oops. How do I get to go to the next one?
Just click right here, I think. Yeah.
Next. Yeah. Okay, that works. So the linchpin of this investigation is the searchable full text, also known as OCR or optical character recognition files. Commercially available OCR software cannot yet yield consistently high accuracy for Arabic, and accurate full text is, of course, essential for content discovery. So instead, we are working with the Open Islamic Texts Initiative, or OpenITI, to investigate improved OCR output. Their website is listed on the slide, and there you can find a link to a paper published by the team regarding their methods and results. In short, they use the open source Kraken OCR software and have a workflow that supports creation of transcriptions from page images that can then be used as training data for the improvement of OCR accuracy. Now, there are some benefits and challenges to this process, or this approach. Among the benefits are that the OpenITI team's approach has in fact demonstrated improvements to OCR accuracy, so it is something we definitely want to take advantage of if we can. Also, it is more broadly beneficial and practical than manual correction of OCR output, since improvements to the OCR software can be used on an ongoing basis and for projects beyond JSTORs. There are also some challenges. There is the added cost for OCR software training. If your content has typefaces that are not yet recognized by the OCR software, then creation of highly accurate training data is needed, and this is often a highly manual effort. There's also the question of integrating a new external OCR workflow with established content conversion processes. And then there's the question of shared priorities. The OpenITI team's primary investigators are 4 academics who, very understandably, have their own teaching and research responsibilities that may or may not mesh well with JSTOR's own deadlines in a larger ongoing project. Now, for the challenges, I think they are things that we can work on, but they are challenges nonetheless. And with that, I'm going to turn it back to Anne for final comments.
And lastly, I'll just quickly share some of our long-term goals and some observations as a result of this early investigation. So we at JSTOR wish for this endeavor to be driven by feedback from institutions and experts in the region and not shaped solely by our own perspective. And to do this, we're going to collaborate closely with institutions collecting Arabic materials and serving Arabic speakers. And this investigation for us has, of course, emphasized that corpora must be built in collaboration rather than in isolation. And we hope that the value of this investigation is that it opens up the potential for digital humanities scholars to expand the scope of their studies into a global context. And we also hope that this investigation can, in the longer term, permit a further one that will help us understand how we can connect an Arabic corpus of journals with JSTOR's existing resources for digital humanities. And just to show you where those are today, you can visit JSTOR's data for research, which is jstor.org/TFR. And we would love to talk with any of you who have an interest in converting Arabic or in other non-Roman languages. Thank you.